right in front of me.
All right, cool. Well, here we go. Good evening. This is Penelope Flynn, co host and moderator of Discussions from the Other Hood. I'm here on this lovely, to some, March 16th evening. Hope you're doing fine. Um, I guess we can say, as we usually do, while we start getting settled in, we talk a little bit about the weather. And so, James, you are front row center. How's the weather in New York?
All right, even though I missed it because of arthritis, but it was a really nice day from what I could see outside. It's 51 degrees and clear right now. Um, it was a nice day, except for maybe people on Staten Island because as we speak, wild turkeys are blocking traffic.
What?
Yeah,
Why? It's like a
I,
turkey migration?
I don't know. You gotta ask the turkeys.
Oh,
I
okay.
only I only deal with turkeys when it's you know Turkey Day.
All right, cool beans. All right. Well, Sonia, you're up next. How's the weather in West, well, I guess Rochester now, right?
Yeah, I'm
Still
Rochester.
cold?
Yeah, it's about 50-ish degrees. It
That's
was
not
raining
bad.
early. No, not bad, but it's supposed to get down to what today? Let me see. What's supposed to get down to today? 35. It's supposed to rain, and then
Mm.
on by Tuesday morning it should start snowing again.
Wow, wow. We haven't had snow yet this year, but
Tuesday
Wow,
and Sunday, next Sunday.
mm,
we really
all right.
haven't had snow in 2 years here in New York City.
Wow. Yeah. Somebody's breathing really a lot into their mic. So check your mics for breathing. Cranston, how are things?
This week it has been in the 80s all week during the day, and then it drops down into the upper 60s at night.
Oh, how nice. That's
Yeah,
good weather.
it has been fairly pleasant.
No rain?
No rain, no.
Wow, okay. Well, Dr. King, I don't know if you and Nikki are both going to get on about it, but Nikki, you're already unmiked. How's the weather?
Oh, it's nice. It's partly cloudy and 77 degrees outside.
That sounds great. That sounds like beautiful weather. And no rain, nothing like that. You got just great.
We'll get rain at the end of the week.
Okay. Do you need it?
Yeah.
All right, then that's wonderful. That is
Yes.
wonderful. And Dr.
Mhm.
King, how are your plants doing?
Oh, they're great. I have two pineapples coming.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And some tomato plants. And by
Excellent.
the way, the weather was up in the mid, well, about 83 or 4 today.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah,
you got
it
some
was
nice warm
nice.
weather. You got nice weather.
Yeah.
Well, Otto, I know what your weather is like, but you go ahead and regale us with the weather.
I had no problems with the weather. It was dreary and rainy and dark and cloudy, which for me is the cornucopia of perfect weather.
For me as well, except if I have to drive in it, which I had to do today. So that part was not fun. Driving in this, I mean, at one point it was raining so hard it sounded like we were in a shower. I mean, just really coming down. But other than that, I mean, our yard was kind of like mishmash. But now, I mean, it's so much rain that just everything is now just growing all at
Perfect for
once.
planting.
Yes, perfect for planting. Absolutely. All right. Well, if we have hit the weather, now we're going to slide into the issue of the Poor People Show. Now, this issue came up as we were, talking about something that happened many years ago. If you all recall, Hurricane Katrina. And remember, during Hurricane Katrina, the Associated Press did these pictures of people, and they were in the water, and they had like a plastic bag with stuff in it, and it's floating it along, a man and a woman. And the picture actually was published twice. Once the people were black people, and in the other picture, they were white people. Now, the picture that they had with black people, as they were pushing their stuff along in the water, they said looters, out doing X, Y, and Z. And when they had the white people, they said survivors, doing X, Y, Z. And so this is at a time, of course, when a lot of people were seriously affected, a lot of people who were categorized as poor. But how interesting it is that we have poor people who are black, that they're categorized as looters, and poor people that are white who are categorized as survivors. So we wondered, not just with film and television, but all media, the way that poverty is shown, and how does it differ when from region to region, by ethnicity. How is it that media, not just the TV and film, but also the news media, how it is that poverty is described, how it is presented. So anybody just jump in if you want, but I think about first what television shows we watched when we were growing up and when you were aware that people were poor. And the first ones we kind of came up with, of course, is uh the Waltons, because Walton's on Walton Mountain and those people were supposed to be poor. But when you see these people being poor, it's like that salt of the earth poverty, and they're working really hard, and they have these aspirations or no aspirations, but still out there happy to be up on the mountain. But when you
It's
think
not a
of,
permanent state.
yeah, it's
It's
a
not a permanent state of
temporary
existence.
condition. Yeah, right. And that it's not just that it's not a permanent state, but their goodness, good intent is always presumed, or capability to rise above is always presumed. Like this concept, like we say, our better angels, that always that this is something that is presumed with regard to the people that they put forward as being poor and who are Anglo. And when we think of our people, it's even more complex when you think in terms of black people, because you have a show like the Waltons, and they're again out in the mountains. Apparently, it have a whole lot. Especially remember if you did, yeah, I'm sure most of y'all do not, but the original Waltons television show came from a movie, which is The Homecoming. It was like a television movie, and Patricia Neal was the mom. The Andrew Duggan played as the dad. I do not know who it was that played as John Boy. It may have been Richard Thomas, but I'm not sure. But even before that, this derives from the movie Spencer's Mountain, if you all remember that. So all of this kind of derives from that. And when they went to the church for the Christmas on the homecoming, and the little girl was given a doll, because they didn't have any money, so she was given this little doll. And when she opened it up, I guess it's a porcelain doll, but the head was broken. And so she was very upset because she'd been given this doll for Christmas that was broken. And these are things always that we associate with people who are poor, and then we know that these people were struggling and that they were poor, but it's certainly not presented in the same way that black people who are poor. It's like they have to add this extra little dig of abject ness to their poverty, when you're talking in terms of black people. So when we think, what is the analog of that? Something like that with Spencer's Mountain, or with the Waltons, and it was hard to come up with something, because are there any shows about black people maybe living on a farm, and the issues that come up with black people having to run a family farm? Is there anything like that you can
Okay.
think of?
Um, I don't recall any solid TV shows,
Hmm.
but over the years, every now and then you would find like a episode of some shows that featured a black farm family. Case in point was Bonanza. There's this episode where Horace is, I think he's going from some town to the Ponderosa, and he comes across Ozzie Davis being harassed by some cowboys in town, and he basically pummels the cowboys, and he finds out that Ozzie Davis is trying to just do his thing on his farm. And that episode, oh God, I can't remember that little boy's name. He also popped up, young black actor. It seemed like he was everywhere in the late '60s, early '70s. I think he was even in a movie with Sidney Poitier, played his son. But yeah, other than that, and maybe I think episode of Gunsmoke with Yaphet Kotto, and again they were like homesteaders trying to get, you know, from point A to point B. I can't really think of anything else.
Right. The only thing I think of in that same vein is like Sounder, but again, these were tenant farmers, and again, that same concept of it being like such a level of poverty, desperation, broken family trying to, stay together, a very different type of presentation where the Waltons, the father is there in the home with the mother and the grandparents and extended family all there to raise up these children however it is that they can. So, I was trying to think, and I mean, maybe a raisin in the sun, possibly, with the extended family. But even in that uh, context, it's like this story where this family, I mean, where they're like eating each other, consuming each other with
Well,
these
they're poor.
expectations.
Their their poverty tied up to their skin color.
Mm,
So it's like something they can never get off. So the Waltons, all they need to do is like, John Boy, we know what's going to happen to him, right? He's going to go off to
right, right.
college. He's become a Hollywood writer called Earl Hamner. We know
Mhm,
all this stuff is going to happen. And so there's always this aspirational thing. Just wait for it. Just wait for it.
mhm.
But you can't just wait for it for your black to come off. It's just, your poverty is intertwined with it, and to be honest, that's where it's going to be. That's just you're poor and you deserve to be poor, and you're going to stay that way.
And I think of it. I mean, just but even as the story's being told, I don't recall, and if anybody does anything like that, that same level of here's a family that they are, striving, trying to do better, do more, promote their children to do, what they can. I mean, anybody, Nick, if you remember anything, Dr. King, if you remember anything, that you ever seen that shows families. I mean, I know there's a lot of old programming. For instance, we even laughed a little about Amos and Andy, but Amos and Andy, they're clearly like middle class and lower middle class, but not poor. But it shows that this concept of these people, that the reason that they are poor or don't have XYZ because they're gambling their money away, that they are being unintelligent, trying to be crafty, that they have these opportunities, but they're the ones who are squandering them away by virtue of who it is that they are. Now, if you think that I'm incorrect, or please say so. What is your position on this if I'm incorrect?
No, I think we also have to take in the fact that we weren't really that much on TV during that time as it is. You
But
know,
you talk about the '60s, the '70s, the '80s. You talk about Sanford and Son and Good Times, and even I don't know about That's My Mama, but but people are they're poor, they're black, and they're poor, and black
Hmm.
poor, black equals poor, and before then you had like you had Julia.
Hmm.
We talk about Barefoot in the Park, and Schoolie Mitchell, who wasn't a great comedian, and James said was in that movie in that show. And so you have a different aspect, but then all of a sudden poor equal black equal poor. And if you were poor and black, you were in the city. If you were poor and white, you were in the country, like Little House on the Prairie and all this other historical stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
well, again, like I said, at that time we were very rarely on television. As time went on, you started to see a little bit of you started to see shows where our income went up. Okay, like Living Single and the Cosby Show and all of that there, but you also have to understand that when it comes to black poor and white poor, okay, with the white poor, or for lack of a better word, they used to call it white trash.
Mm-hmm.
They really have been invisible in this country because people don't, they don't like to be seen as poor, so they kind of get off the grid, especially those in the rural areas,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then with us, like I said, that as time marches on, you see TV shows with black people, our income goes up, our status, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, it's kind of like a comfort zone for certain people in this country, where no matter what's your situation, you're doing better than those people over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those people of color.
Does it make
But
me feel better? I mean, does it make you feel? Does it make black people feel better to see, like, Sanford and Son? They living in the junkyard.
no, well, that's because, again, Sanford and Son was basically about two entrepreneurs that was struggling to make money. But what I'm talking about is shows like again, like the Cosby Show, Living Single. Um, Let me see, what was the show with A Different World? You see what I'm saying?
So
So,
you're saying, so James, what you're saying is that these shows make white people uncomfortable when they see black people doing better than them.
well, actually, I didn't say that. I said with the seeing black people that are poor, that makes them feel comfortable. Now, what you're saying going in the opposite direction, yeah, probably so. If you're a white person living in a trailer park somewhere and you see a show like A Different World, you're upset, okay? Because here you got these young black people, college people, they're going to school, up with mobility, while I'm sitting in a trailer park.
That pissed me
Even
off.
Yeah, that pisses me off. Even though it might have been a thing where you have to look in the mirror, because like I said, with the white poor in this country, it's also under the radar. Okay.
What about that show? What about Roseanne Barr and the other show called Shameless, where
Right.
the
Well,
white people?
yeah. Okay, with that, yeah, that is poverty. I mean, I don't know. They're like, what do you call those things? Like travelers. They do all sorts of crazy stuff.
They're poor.
Yeah,
Roseanne
they
Barr,
are.
Roseanne Barr show their family is the working poor, right? They're still poor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Malcolm in the Middle, they're working poor,
Right, right.
so they're there, but you still that they remain aspirational. They don't. It seems to me the black poor, number one, we saw black poor. It becomes like you ain't going nowhere. You're always going to be there. Number one, and then number two, if you're talking about like the Cosby Show and stuff like that, it seems like a lot of black people say that's not real. That's not.
Mm-hmm.
That's not reflective of my
Yeah,
reality.
yeah. Well,
Right.
that's when you say ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Okay, because if you think that that wasn't real, then I'm sorry, something is wrong with you. See, here's the thing with this country. Everybody wants to believe everything but facts, and the facts are that since the turn of the century, you've also had a black talented temp. Okay, I don't know what it is with. It's a class thing where lower income blacks don't want to accept or have an issue with upper income blacks, but it's a fact that I have a book right now, and this book, I think the title is The Buying Power of Blacks, and this book is from 1973.
Hmm.
And in the book, they talk about how in 1973 money, black folk were generating $700 million. Okay, maybe part of it is the gatekeepers trying to pigeonhole us, but black people that are educated, black people that making money, whatever, it's a real, it's a fact.
We just don't want to accept it as reality.
Some
You
with
know,
some people, yeah,
some people.
we just don't want to accept it. One of the beautiful things about, I get the Amsterdam News, the physical copy, every week, and I love to go near the back and read. Herb Boyd does an article where he writes stories about historical blacks. Okay, we've been doing our thing since the end of the Civil War, in spite of a certain segment of this country trying to stop us. But we've been doing our thing. I mean, case in point, I just saw on Facebook a story about Mary for Women's History Month. I saw a story about Mary Pleasant. She was
Who's
a
that?
black she was a black entrepreneur in San Francisco after the Civil War. And certain people in San Francisco tried as hard as they could to bring that lady down.
Hmm.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the water or what, but you know, I don't know just what it is that
But it's also the way that like Penelope was saying, the white people in New Orleans, Katrina, they were survivalists, and the black people doing the exact same thing were looters. and
Yeah.
and it's yeah, it's like the white people in Roseanne Barr, they're hardworking,
Yeah.
people, and the black people who are trying to the poor people in black shows, they're like for Good Times, they got JJ who find things, and then we know he's stealing, right?
Hmm.
He find things, and then in the white poor shows like Roseanne or Malcolm in the Middle, or even Archie Bunker, All in the Family. They're working poor. They own their homes, right? They own their homes, and the poor black families are, they're rentals. They're
Yeah. A lot of
working.
their leasing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're renters.
Yeah. Even
And
like if you think about something like Raisin in the Sun, that they were renting, and in good times, they were renting.
yeah,
You
well,
know.
again, time marches on because I could be wrong, but the show Rock,
Yes,
right, right,
yeah,
right.
didn't they own their own home?
They
but
did.
again, they're not poor.
They're working poor.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. As
They're working
time,
poor.
Working
right,
poor.
as time
And,
marches
and
on,
yeah, and on top of that, like you say, working poor. But
right?
again, we get back to the issue like they did in Amos and Andy. You have like Rock's brother, who's is a musician, but sometimes got issues.
Yeah.
And so, you are dealing with, but for these, things they are
What did you
that are
do for a living?
stereotypes,
What did you do for a living? And you
Well,
look at Malcolm in the middle.
well,
What did Malcolm's father do for a living?
I know he
yeah,
did something. I just can't remember. It was just not very memorable because he worked some office in a cubicle thing, just like Francis eventually did, and they were both so excited. But I know the mom worked at the pharmacy because that was a much more interesting storyline. But again, both of them worked, but they had many children, and they were just head above water, if that much. And in fact, if you all remember the end of Malcolm in the Middle, that both Malcolm and Reese were both janitors. Malcolm was he's working janitorial services at his college so that he could, his own work study. And Reese, of course, had become a janitor, and of course, with the support of his grandmother, you know, who was a disagreeable, old crone, but she knew the world, and she kind of knew how to push him in the direction to be self sufficient.
Yeah. But in
right.
those shows, it's like
See,
nothing's wrong with it. It's like
That's
there's
right.
nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this.
no,
You know?
see,
Yeah,
we there was a show on PBS. I mentioned this many moons ago called "Coming Up" or "Up and Coming."
I remember
Okay,
that.
right,
I think Nikki had watched it.
right, and it was about a black family in the Bay Area.
Mhm.
They owned their own house. The
Mhm.
father was had his own business, construction business.
Mhm.
Okay, so again, things ebb and flow. I
You know how
mean,
Right.
we
long that show
also
lasts though, Jane?
yeah, but we also forget about married with children.
That's what I'm saying. Married with children. They
Okay,
ma- they
they
own their own home. They own their home, right?
yeah, but I mean that was fine that they owned their own home, but I mean, would you want Al Bundy as a father?
You listen.
No.
You know what? You could kill that guy. You get the insurance off of him, and you have a home. You know. Real talk though. Real talk. The thing is that there was a study. They always do these studies, and it shows that black white people, the white families, have 100 times more net wealth than black families. Regardless of income. So if you get a black family that earns $40,000, and you put them to a white family that earned $40,000, the net worth of the white family is 100 times more than the black family.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying is that we need to okay, you have black poor, right? But again, we're not the black community is not monolithic. Okay, you have different types of black people, different types of income that are being
Yeah.
generated, different levels of education.
Right.
We're talking about the also the black diaspora.
Right. I know, but one thing
Okay,
I did have to say when you talk about net worth, and that needs to be added to that conversation, is that the reason why the net worth disparity is because black people, uh, even if they have the same let's see, income level, and you have the same exact home, if that home is in a black neighborhood, that exact same home is not going to be appraised at the same level,
oh yeah,
even if it's
of course.
exactly the same house.
Uh,
And we even saw those situations where black people who tried to sell their homes, that when the woman just had the real estate agent come in, and a white woman real estate agent come in and do the appraisal on the home, that it came in pretty low. But when they went back with their home, they took out everything in the home that showed that the people that lived there were black. Then it turned around and got a high appraisal.
Yeah, well, that's like the thing that New York City, New York State used to do, where they would have a white person call up and ask about a home to buy, and the realtor would say, "Okay, we'll meet you at the place," and then they would
Mm-hmm.
send a black couple there, and the real estate person be like, "Oh, well." this is not, it's not sale. You know, it's not
Yeah,
sale.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and then to try to redline you and move you to areas where the
Yeah,
property values were lower. And so then you because again, net worth is tied to home ownership, the value of your home.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
like
when you have
Fred
a
Sanford.
system, right, and you have a
Fred
system,
Sanford owned his home.
yeah,
So if Fred Sanford, let's say he had held on to, he lives alive, he'd be a millionaire now because of gentrification or something. I don't
probably,
know. Yeah,
probably. That
yeah,
area he has a business and his home on the amount of property he had. Are you kidding?
yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean,
in Los Angeles.
when
yes.
you get to in the nitty gritty of it, he was a businessman. He was an
Mhm.
entrepreneur. You
Right.
know, it's just that he, you know, it's just, it's just that he had, I guess, issues and whatnot. But the bottom
issues,
line,
but
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, but the bottom line is that he was a businessman.
Yeah, it
You
was
but
a
but
know,
see,
family business. It was just a family
but
business.
people see these black shows and they show us as poor, people think that's black people. But people see married with children, they say, well, that's
The
not
Bu-
white
Yeah.
people. You
that's
know
the
what I mean?
That's
Bundys.
just the bun
That's just the
exactly. That's the Bundys.
Bundys.
Yeah,
That's
right.
just Little House on the
Exactly.
Prairie. All the
Yeah.
black.
well, again, ignorance is bliss. Okay, and if you that person that you talk about that sees it like that, if they don't understand that this is a big country, that you have different types of people out here, then I feel sorry for them
But
because
but
that's
James, but
yeah,
James, you missed that this stuff is going overseas.
And
People over in other countries they see us like this as well.
yeah, but you know what? I really don't care about people overseas.
yeah,
I'll
but
be
it's
honest.
like,
I know. I'm
but
sorry.
I know,
I
but again, it's like on our friend that we went to school with,
right,
and he says that he's going to go out and he's interviewing for positions in law firms.
right.
But when he's interviewing his positions as law firms, when they see him, with his, Italian surname, that they're not thinking, hey, this guy is smart and went to the school and did well, and here he is. They're thinking of the Sopranos that they saw, you know, that last week, or Goodfellas, or
Yeah,
The
and that's
Godfather,
that within
and
within that community. A lot of people don't know it, but within that community, it's a debate discussion with that. You
hmm
for every Italian American that likes The Sopranos, you have Italian Americans that hate it because. And to tell you the truth, I personally, when watching The Sopranos, I'm like, my God, this is so stereotyped. You know, the
hmm
guys are walking around with the wife beater shirts and the
hmm
jewelry and the pompadour.
But it's a hit.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's a hit, but again, you have some Italians that don't like that.
well,
They
yeah,
don't care for it. Now,
well,
again, getting back to it's like this. I've gotten to the point where certain things I'm like I've been here over half a century, and when you get kind of older, you kind of like with certain things you just like F it, you know. And when it comes to like people's perceptions of black people overseas and whatnot, I really don't care because they've had that perception long before I was here, and they're gonna have it after I'm gone.
But you don't
well, you
think
know what? I
that
disagree. No, but
you
I
don't think that
disagree.
adversely
I
affects us?
disagree. I disagree, James, because when I went to Europe many, many years ago,
Right?
you had the carryover from African Americans for the people who were like the Josephine Bakers, you know, that, your piece of the Martin Luther King to the world that people knew. And, the work, the civil rights movement is like legendary,
Yeah.
you know, overseas.
Hmm.
But then you have this wave of people creating this concept, this image of black people with violence and poverty, and they ship that overseas. And I think some of it as we used to think, what I used to think when I was a much younger person, that these things were just coincidental. And as I become older, I don't believe they're coincidental.
No,
I
they're
think these
not.
things are intentional and, ways to undermine whenever it is that, we're trying to make any progress, and even, going to other countries and asking for any type of support
Hmm.
for, whatever it is that we're working on. But when you see, The Wire, and this is, how black people are, not just black people, they're children as well. Who's going to find funding behind that? Who's
Well,
going
see,
to
well,
think?
again,
Because then people
and
think that they may not think, they may know, yes, it's fiction, but they think it's fictionalized reality.
you're absolutely right, because I'm gonna tell you, going back again a couple of podcasts ago, I was talking about the redemption period
Hmm.
of the United States history. You had ex-Confederates, people from the South, going overseas, perpetrating this fraud, giving their view of how black people are in the United States. Okay, they really didn't have to do that, because when you had somebody like a King Leopold of Belgium
Hmm.
in the Belgian Congo, lopping off hands of Africans because they weren't producing enough diamonds or whatever it is that was of value in the Congo. So it was already there. It was already there. A lot of people don't know that when it came to the Third Reich and Hitler and Goebbels and them,
Hmm.
they admired the United States, especially the southern part of the United States, on how they handled race relations. See, a lot of people don't know. So it's already there. Again, after 60 years of being on this planet, when it comes to racism, you could only bring it down to a minimum. It's ne- it's never gonna go away. I personally, like I said, I'm sorry ad nauseum. I really don't care what people overseas think,
Hmm.
because it doesn't matter to me at this point in time. What we as like creators have to do is we have to use our tools of literature and the visual arts and music and all that to counteract that. Okay, that's
Hmm.
what we have to do. It's listen, the good times, Amos and Andy, was done is done. Can't go back. As as they say, we can only go forward, and as the saying goes, the struggle continues.
Yeah, but but the thing is this: if you were coming from another country and you had two choices, this is your choice.
Hmm.
You either be a poor white person or a poor black person.
If I had the choice,
Yep, coming from
well,
another country.
if you're talking about
Seeing what you see, the only thing you see is what
right,
you see on television. Would you rather you choose to be a poor white person or belong to a poor white family or a poor black family?
if if I was coming, if I had a choice and I did my research, and if I saw, when it comes to white people, if I saw episodes of Duck Dynasty,
Hmm.
hell to the no. Okay, I'm so sorry. No,
But
no,
I thought
uh,
you wanted to go to Duck Dynasty World.
no, no, and
No,
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 no, no, no, and no.
no,
and see,
no.
and see. Here's the one good thing about social media and streaming and television and all that stuff now is that you can kind of find the truth
Hmm.
about stuff. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, but if you research it, but I'm not talking about people that research anything. I'm talking about people who just flick on the television and understand if you're coming from another country, you're not changing your ethnicity. So if you're from Nigeria, you're still Nigerian. If you're Asian, you're Asian.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying you got this is your choice. You want to come in this country, you got to
Hmm.
choose to belong or to hook up with a black family, a poor black family, or a poor white family.
And I think I mean, for my mind, people think, well, it's probably easier, if I'm in a family where all it is, like you say, my poverty is only transitory condition, as opposed to, what's endemic,
Right,
to
right.
right.
Something's going wrong every day with poor. you know?
Well, I mean, but remember, I mean, it's tangential to the issue of poverty. But the comment that I know that Otto had read to me regarding when you see like these, white women missing, there's black women missing, or Native American women missing. So why is it that the only attention goes to when a white woman is missing? And the person's response says that because stuff like that is supposed to happen to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
there's this concept that there is this stratification of society such that black people, or I would say non-white people, are supposed to be treated a certain way. And I mean, I'm going to tell you, that's kind of like what I saw when during the terrorist attack on the Capitol in January 6th. That you have these terrorists that attack the Capitol, but because they're white terrorists attacking the Capitol, they don't do anything about it. Because they believe that these people somehow are that the law does not apply to them. The because we are not criminals, so the law can't apply to us. And the people who are supposed to be watching them, policing them, enforcing the law, the reason they don't is because they think the same way.
okay. Well,
You know,
I'll give you a better example. Remember when it was before January 6th, while Trump was still president, you had a protest down in Washington. Okay, what did they do? They shut that protest down. I think
hmm
that was during the time that was at the time when I think Trump came out.
and cross the street in order to hold some Bible in front of a
Yeah,
church.
and he didn't
Up,
even know how to he
upside
didn't
down.
yeah, he
hmm
was probably burning his hands too. Okay, his hands he's like, quick, take it back because my hands are getting ready to get
You know what though? You
engulfed
look
in
back at
flames.
that. You look.
hmm
Can I ask everybody a question? You look back at
hmm
that. Can y'all believe that that actually happened in our country?
Yeah, that protesters were brutalized
And then
by
the president of the
government.
United States got a Bible upside
Yeah,
down or right side up and held it outside of a church
no, the
that he's
same.
never been in
They
that
never
he's never
attended.
been to.
Never attended.
Enough in the listen.
And I
They
mean, and it's our
election
media, and it is our media that
yeah,
has done this.
and election morning when I woke up and I turned on my laptop and I saw that he had won. I said, "Oh, the game's afoot. We are we're off to the races. Let
You should
me
have seen Stephen Colbert fed
Wow, yeah, they were like, "What?" I
yep."
mean,
And so yeah, so you compare him that day with the Bible upside down and
mhm.
with what happened January 6th. Yes, because again, this again, racism. I'm sorry to say, it sounds like I like
but James.
wait a minute. It sounds
Mhm.
like I have a bowl of cynical with thumbtacks as I
There
sit in
you
the
go.
background. But
Yeah.
You're welcome.
yeah, and like I said, racism unfortunately is not going to go
Mhm.
away
But
in this
James,
country. Yeah.
in the '60s,
Hmm.
if January 6th happened in 1960,
9.
not 68, 67, every one of those people would have been shot and killed,
Oh,
Yeah.
of
regardless
course,
of their
Oh,
color.
yeah.
of course. Of course,
Because
the
yeah.
first of all, they would have marched soldiers out of the Pentagon.
They would have
Mhm.
killed them all. Yeah, they would have been
Yeah.
like 10. It would have been like Kent
Kent
State.
State.
It would have
It
been
would
Yeah.
have it would have been like Kent
Or
State,
or like what they just
Jackson
did
State.
a few weeks earlier to the protesters, a few months earlier to those protesters who were across the street. It would have been the same kind of thing. I mean, tear gas or rubber
Yeah.
bullets, all this
Penelope.
nonsense.
Penelope, I truly believe that if that had happened in 1967 on January 6th,
Hmm.
1967, most of those people would have been shot, killed, or injured.
Agreed,
No, they
agreed,
would have.
agreed. But
They
there's this
would have.
mindset now that even these people have infiltrated, our military, our um, police forces,
But
by people
it's al-
who put
it's also
their position as being white and poor
Well, it's also the governor.
over
Like
doing their
it's like
job.
the governor said, I don't know who to call. I can't call the National Guard. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And the mayor of DC is saying that she didn't know what to do. And then
Hmm.
you got the secretary of, like, one of the undersecretaries is
Hmm.
Michael Flynn's brother or
Hmm.
something.
Hmm.
It's just
Hmm.
I don't know what to even say.
And I think, like, for instance, say the person in DC, they didn't know what to do. I said, wasn't that part of your job to know what to do?
No, part of my job is to walk around in designer clothes and make sure that everybody sees me, and
Hmm.
you know that I'm the king of the queen of the thing. And
Yeah, it's like if
I
that's
hate to
part of your
say this, and I
job.
say this, excuse me, black women, excuse me for
Hmm.
saying this, but my part of my job is to make sure that all black women understand that I'm a black woman and I'm in charge.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that person should not have had that job if they didn't know what the job entailed, and especially in a situation like that, which could have gotten a lot more out of hand than it did.
Well,
So
um, getting back to
poverty.
yeah, getting back to property. Um,
You didn't say who you want to be. If you're out of the country, you Mr. Overseas, would you want to be affiliated with not doing?
I think that's a hard question to ask because
Mhm.
he's not from overseas. He does not see the world from the perspective of someone who
How
is
about
from
you?
overseas.
Well,
How about me? What I would do? I mean, but I'm not a good person to ask. You know, I'm not a good person to ask because I mean, I would rather be black than everything.
okay. There's an Irish comedian that just recently watched his special. When he came over, or he was answering a AVR, one of those automatic phone responses.
Mm,
He's Irish. So the first thing he says, "Are you English?" He's like, "There's no way in hell I'm going to admit I'm English. My people fought too hard to or not
mhm,
be lumped into that." The second one was African American because no, as much as I love my fellow brothers, I'm not going to appropriate. The third one was Latino, and he went, "I can fake being Latino." And then he proceeded to learn enough Spanish that he could embarrass native Spanish speaking people. And he said, "So if I'm going to appropriate, I'll appropriate Latino instead of anybody else because they're more closer to my cultural fight." So
I don't
there
know how
adds
that
a
makes
whole.
any sense
He
at
was talking
all.
about how they both fought the white man. They both love to drink. They both seem to end up in construction. Both teams tend to end up in construction, and both the United States did not have any policy in place in hand when both groups started showing up in the United States. And how if and so he speaks fluent Spanish. He said he also made the joke about he didn't know how his parents would uh could handle it if they learned that they had raised a Latino. He knew enough Spanish that when I could pick out what he was saying, and then he translated it for the people who didn't know Spanish. He was asking them about certain phrases that were not in Spanish because they're not in the Spanish mindset, and he goes, they're not in Irish either because with the same kind of mindset
Hmm.
that went for the and the types of atrocities that when Irish first came to the United States, they had practiced on the Latinos to coming across the Mexican border when because
Actually,
Texas was part of the was part of
Texas
Mexico.
part of Mexico. Yeah.
Right. So, and then they tried to take it back, and then they went, wait, but we don't want all these people here in America. So all the techniques that they practiced in Texas, they had also applied to the Irish when they first came over because they weren't considered white when they first came over.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Nobody was considered white, but white people,
yeah,
which is
but
which is white
English,
Anglo-Saxon.
but the English and the Dutch. That
That's
Right.
was it.
it. That's it. I mean, you were, if you watch the movie Do the Right Thing, you hear all the slurs different people are called, and that's what they were. They weren't white. They were all those things, all those nasty
Hmm.
things. But if you cross the Mason Dixon line, you're no longer Irish. You're white.
Right.
But in New York City, you're still Irish.
Or you're Irish, or you're
Well,
German, or you're whatever your
Paddy
nationality
wagon and
was.
all those
or
other nasty things. I won't.
or your indentured servant in some
Although, but,
instances.
but one question, getting off the subject real quick. I was thinking about what the English did to the Irish, the atrocities. Does that make you look at Angela Ashes in a different way or the same way?
No, not really. I mean, I do understand, the atrocities, that are committed against the Irish. But then I think of things, for instance, as we talk about gangs of New York and what those same Irish people did to black people. And I can't feel sorry for them. it's,
But those are different Irish people.
well, I mean, I just saying the Irish people who are in Ireland and what
Yeah,
happened to them. But I think a lot of the people come over here, they're first generation or second generation, and it's like they forgot. And I mean, although the stuff that happened, it was horrible things
it's
that
easy
happened.
to
And Angel's
forget.
Ashes. I mean,
But
that
isn't it
I
easy
was,
to forget?
yeah, I
It's
was
easy to forget.
traumatized by that book.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
I was traumatized by what happened to them. But still, again, I can see the plight of being beaten into a form that fits into the puzzle the way that your oppressors want you to be. And then once they've beaten you into that form, it now, has become a mold. And you and your children all will fit into that mold forever and ever, even though, if you're water, if you're molten wax, all you need to do is just get over the edge of the lip of this thing and you can be something different and be somewhere different. But that's not the plan that anyone's had for you. And even those who love you don't know what goes on outside of that mold and they can't help you,
And
you
talk
know?
about poor. And talk about poor.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I remember that Sinead O'Connor, decades ago, was saying that there was no potato famine in Ireland. So what happened was that the English came and took all of their produce, and they were required to give the English their produce.
And you
And
know
there was
what?
no famine;
And
they
you know
just
what?
took all their stuff.
And you know
Hmm.
what? She gave me a history lesson because I had no idea because I was taught something different.
Yeah, but but the potato famine is the last thing. It's like basically there is no more food left because basically the English did to them what they do to everywhere where they have placed their colonial
Hmm.
boot. They scrape everything off of it. If it's cane in Jamaica, they're
Hmm.
gonna take it. If they're going to Hawaii and there are pineapples, they're gonna take it. Whatever it is that you have got, that's something they want, they're going to take it. And forget the fact that it leaves everyone in their wake in poverty. You know, I mean, we think all the time about through the Dust Bowl. You have these people given land grants to go move into the middle of this country, having no knowledge whatsoever about how to farm, and all those people then thrown into poverty.
Well,
They can no
indigenous
longer
people,
afford to live there.
indigenous people are always shown as poor, right?
I
Except
don't even,
maybe
but
like
but see, and that's the thing. Is that a problem, right? Indigenous people always shown as poor.
especially
But
this
then,
country, yeah.
yeah, but the thing is always that okay, this is the way that I am. the way that I live. I have a certain culture and the way we do things.
or
It's not
in
the
the
way you do things.
yeah, or,
So that means
or
that you're poor.
or in the case of what's the show? Yellowstone. Is it Yellowstone? The one with
I
Costner that's
Yeah,
on right
Yellow.
now.
I don't watch it, but I know what you're talking about.
If you're an indigenous rich person, you're a bad person.
So
The
why is
good
that?
people are the poor.
Why
The
are you
good
bad?
down salt of the earth people are poor. The the indigenous people that they show who have money and who are controlling things are the bad guys.
So why are they bad?
This one is because he's always how is it in I can't remember. It's the tribal leader. He gets most of the money from all the casino profits.
Hmm.
And I think he's got land that Costner's character was trying to get. So they're constantly fighting. I think that's the plot line.
Huh.
But yeah, so and if you're taking the Costner point of view, he's the bad guy. I think they're now changing that because they've gotten more indigenous people on their writing staff.
Yeah, and
So I
probably
haven't,
say
yeah, I haven't seen it since I know they hired some indigenous folks on their writing staff.
interesting. I know one of my sisters used to watch it, but she said it was just so toxic she couldn't continue watching it. So it just was very toxic to her.
But why
The
she start?
relationships, huh?
Why she start watching it?
I don't know. I guess because if you have a show, it's supposed to be about somewhere, to the west where you have, a Native American, hopefully, lives, point of views involved in this thing, but you find out it's not exactly what you thought it was.
Well, the thing is, we had a sort of I guess, outing at our workplace, and we could have saw. There were two movies we were given a choice to see, and one of them was Killers of the Flower Moon. And I didn't want to. I didn't watch it. I mean, I used to be a Scorsese fan and all that, but one of the reasons I didn't watch the movie, was because it seemed to me it was told from the viewpoint of a white person,
It was, yeah.
and I don't understand why is that? It's like Goodfellas being so told from the viewpoint of an FBI agent. I mean, I understand that. What's the name of the movie where what's his name was a narc? He was narking on people.
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
get that, but right, but it's like, telling like the Godfather or something like that. From the aspect of some Irish cop or something. It's like,
Right,
why would we need? Why do I need to hear it? Why do I need to hear it
from
from
the
you? I can't
perspective
You
just.
of
should
them.
you should get the book. The book is better.
I heard that the book was better, and basically like showing what was going on from different perspectives of like three different perspectives.
Yeah, the
And
book
that
is.
and that's why I was happy. I was happy it didn't win anything. And by the way, congratulations to Cord Jefferson for winning
Yay!
best
Best
adapted
adapted
screenplay.
screenplay. Excellent. Please tell me everybody by now has seen American Fiction. Please don't tell me that you have not
No,
seen it. Why? I mean, we're black writers. Why would we have not seen American Fiction?
because as a black writer, I lead a kind of busy life.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
if it
gosh.
if it was a B
Oh
movie
my
with
gosh.
if it was a
Cause,
B movie with Godzilla and
Yep.
Ant Man in it, he would have.
cause I
I
poll.
I
Yeah.
haven't touched a B movie in weeks. It's just a lot of
Wait,
stuff.
Weeks. Weeks, he says. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
He's gone
I,
off the sauce.
weeks.
I have a
Really?
lot
Well,
of things I got to do.
Yes, understood.
But
Understood.
I will see y'all opened up a can of worms. See, I haven't given you guys a recommendation on a B movie a month.
okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, well
Keep your worms.
no, you started it. Okay, or if this was a show on CNN, a political show, I said you spoke. Now let me speak. Um,
Go for it.
check out check out 1974's Impulse with William Shatner.
I
What's
swear
it
I've seen
about?
that. What's it about?
It's no, I'm not even gonna say. All I'm gonna say is William Shatner just runs amok in that movie.
Oh wow.
And what's a
Okay.
muck? What is a muck?
That's a muck. Just whatever you want to do, huh?
Hmm.
What is he runs a muck? What is a muck?
He he just runs wild. He just runs buck wild. There's no controlling him. He just loses it all.
Okay. So
Okay,
I swear I've
so
seen this. I have to
so
look
wait a
at it.
minute. James had time to see this, but not American fiction. I get it.
No, I saw
Well,
Impulse a while back.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, but we need to figure out a way to get everybody to see it. I think it is
well,
such an
if
important film.
what you can do right now is they're having a they have this. It's you can see it on Roku, on MGM Plus through Roku, and they have like a 1 week free trial, so you can get that free trial, see it, and then cancel it before they start charging you $6 a month, whatever it is on your card.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's such an important film for Black writers to see. Those of us
And
who,
for Cord Jefferson to win it on his first at the gate is really, I think, important. You
yeah,
know,
but deserved, but well deserved. I think he did such a great job with it. I think he should have gotten, the director, best director, for the work that he did on it.
he wasn't going
The
to win that. You
I know,
know,
but still, he should have.
Oppenheimer,
Hmm.
man.
But just a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure the Oppenheimer people thought they would get that best adapted screenplay too, but
Yeah, they did.
mhm.
Or Killers of the
And-
Flower Moon.
yeah, yeah, possibly. But I mean, such a sad, funny, slice of life type of film for those of us who have walked this road. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal film. Really enjoyed it. All right. Well, we are rolling up on time, and one of the things that reason we have to roll up on time is because there's some Nick game I think going on tonight. And that's a very important thing to many people who are, in our midst this evening.
Listen, don't try to, that doesn't mean anything to me as much as as Svengoolie
Svengoolie, yeah, okay, yeah,
means
you
to
all want to hear Svengoolie.
James and Cranston. You know,
Yeah, I'm missing Vincent Price tonight.
Oh
see,
no!
see. Now, how did he know that was on? How did he know that Vincent Price? How did he know
How
that
did he
Vincent Price and
know?
Peter Lorre?
Huh?
That's because I put it on in the living room. It's just
Ah,
that
there
I
you
can't
go.
see
There you
it.
go. That's what Cranston's been real quiet.
Craig, he
Are
was
you
real
enjoying
quiet. He was
Svengoolie,
watching it.
Cranston?
No,
You
no
skipping back and
Svengoolie
forth between
tonight.
Svengoolie and the Nick game? What's going on?
No Svengoolie tonight.
Okay. Well, but the Nick game,
What about it?
No, no,
huh?
not
No,
no, not the Knicks. No,
Oh, but it is a game. What is it?
no, it's no game.
You said not the Knicks. So what is it?
No, no, I don't know. So I'm just listening.
Oh,
Florida
okay. There you
State.
Sometimes you
go.
listen. Sometimes you listen and learn.
Yeah,
Florida
but
State.
you should have a lot to say about things, and especially something like this, especially you two, James, because you see a lot of uh television, film, even like the B stuff that everybody doesn't
Well,
necessarily see.
well, the thing is though, like James brought up Married with Children. I forgot about that show.
Hmm.
But that's a
Yeah,
working poor. That's a working poor family too.
yeah, yeah. But again, it's like that working poor, it does not show them as being abject, in the sense like, for instance, Good Times, all the bad things happen to you. For them, it's like all the bad things that happen to the Bundys happen because they bring it on. And with like Good Times, all the bad things happen because that's just what happens to you.
Yeah,
That's the life you lead. Those are things that
supposed to
happen to
happen.
you. It's supposed
Supposed
to
to.
happen to you. That you are supposed to presume that you will be poor. You have to presume that you will not be. I mean, what is it? If Thelma marries the guy and he's a football player, and then trips over JJ at the wedding, and now he can't play football
God
anymore,
damn it!
and for some bizarre reason moves into their house.
Yeah,
I don't get that at all. It's like, well, where were you living before? You
yeah,
know,
right.
where's your family? You take your
Yeah,
bride with you to your family.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
craziness to me. But
But
again, because there has to be more dogpiling on, because your poverty and your poor condition was not enough.
You're
We
not
have to
but
poor enough.
dogpile on more problems for
but
you.
wait a minute. Didn't they resolve all of that stuff in the season finale?
Yeah,
Yeah, in the show finale. Yeah, in the
it was a
that,
totally semi unrealistic happy ending that everything gets straightened out at the end.
yeah, yeah.
And it's a
Especially with Walona moving across the street or whatever from them to be neighbors with them in this new place that they're moving to. It's like, come on, y'all. Come on,
well,
y'all.
it's sort of like it teaches that poverty is like a curse upon you for something that you did. So, and the biggest curse is that you cannot dig yourself out of whatever this hole is, so it becomes a moral failing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the other thing
Thank
I
you.
was thinking about what Krantz was saying about his mother, like on Good Times, they were always complaining about the fact that they're poor. You never like the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie. They don't complain about their poor.
Yeah. Yeah. They're constantly striving, but non-complaining.
They're not complaining about the fact they don't have shit to eat.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, but I'm thinking the issue is that a lot of times we watch things like Good Times, and I've watched it more often than I did many years ago. More recently started watching the show. But what are the types of things like certain kind of clothes? I want to get some records. I want to, basically, I want my kids to live this life that we really can't afford.
On
And
Good Times,
yeah, in good times, some stuff you can't really afford. You can say, look, we just can't afford that. You don't get to wear the newest clothes. You don't get to go out and buy records every time you want because we are living on a very, very tight budget. But on the other
that they
hand,
did
your
on the Cosby
parents,
Show.
huh?
On the Cosby Show, they did it.
Did what? Excuse me.
Remember when
Theo
the
wanted
son
that
what?
shirt,
Yeah,
and he said no. They're not going
yeah,
to give you. Any was it any boy who wants to wear a shirt that costs that amount of money should be wearing it on stage with his other four brothers performing.
right, right,
You
right.
don't get a shirt like that. But again, it's almost like blaming poor people for being poor for wanting to have the things that middle class people have or upper middle class people have. But they paint that that's the way that you're supposed to be, but then you can't afford it, and then you do these things or go without important things in order to have these things. I remember back when I was a I guess high school age, middle school, high school age, when people started with the sneakers. This kind of sneakers, we were stealing other people's sneakers because they wanted to have these sneakers, that whatever. Especially like in college, I think in law school even worse.
That was a big thing in New York.
Yeah,
A lot of people came home barefoot.
yeah, stealing people's shoes. But I have to have these shoes. I have to. It's like it's almost like a psychosis, right? And this psychosis that's a lot of time tied with poverty because, if you say, well, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to get it, so I'm going to steal it. Where you have someone's middle class, like, well, if you get that, that's the only thing you're going to get for Christmas, right? A different mindset. I don't get it.
Well, on the Cosby
You
Show,
know,
it wasn't like Bill Cosby couldn't that family couldn't afford the shirt. It's like I'm not paying that much money for that shirt.
right? Because it's not that it's immoral or anything. It's just that it's not utilitarian. To have this shirt that you probably only wear once or twice, and then you say I can't wear it because everybody's seen it, right? So why bother? The shirt because some you just want to show off to some girl that you have this shirt, some
Well,
designer shirt.
a while back in New York, it was even crazier with gazelle glasses.
Yep.
Okay, you actually had people losing their lives over gazelle glasses, And the thing about it was, people were just going for the glass frame, not the
Yeah,
lenses.
and
Yeah.
hideous glasses. Yeah, hideous ass glasses.
Hmm. People
Hmm.
actually walk around with gazelles with the lenses out. And I remember one guy getting shot to death on 149th and Third Avenue with some gazelle glasses, just the
Yeah,
frames.
just a frame. Because I want to look like Run DMC.
Hmm.
Kazals.
Gazelles.
And the thing is so stupid.
Kazals. They're Kazal.
That's all. But you know the thing is, I want I want these things. I can't afford these things, but I want them.
You know what? I gave away a pair of Kazals, okay? Because they're ugly.
But I want them because I'm poor. I guess I
And
deserve.
it represent makes you represent that you're up and moving, or you're going to be richer, or fill in the
Mm.
blank.
Yeah,
That, this is
But
my
they're
way of
ugly.
reserving. This was my that was that I remember people. This is my way of saying I'm going to make it.
right.
But they're
Yeah,
so ugly. Why would
it
you want to
shows you.
wear them?
But what she said. I mean, it's like I'm aspirational. You know, it's like what Sonia said. You know.
This is my, like, people voting against their best
Best
political
interest.
interests
Yeah.
because they want to reserve that right for when they get up there.
When they get
Hmm.
there,
Yeah.
right?
And so
Yeah.
these glasses show that I'm going to be able to afford these sorts of things when I get up there.
And when I get
Man.
up there, I know exactly what to buy.
Hmm.
Wow. That is so, because I mean, I remember, what is the ones that's Kazals I gave away, and there was another pair that I gave away. The ones that, what's the movie that Brad Pitt was in? He was wearing a pair. This big, oh, those big glasses like that. And it's like,
But that's why you have a lot of poor people who wear designer clothes and stuff that really shows. I mean, it's not good enough to just wear designer clothes without letting people know that they're designer clothes. So that's why the Gucci's and the Burberry's and the whatever the things are that,
signifiers.
yeah,
It,
Signifiers.
the Supreme clothes
Yeah.
that show, yeah,
yeah, it's like right for the last maybe 10 years in New York, you have people, certain people that will buy like high end baseball caps, and they won't take the tag off.
yeah,
They won't take the tag off. They will buy Timberlands, and they'll keep the tag on the Timberlands. Um, it's just beyond the pale.
yeah,
I mean, is
for
it
what it
because they
is.
thought that they wanted to let people know how much it costs, or that they wanted to turn it back in later on?
No, but they it's letting you know that you spent money on something expensive.
And it's legit. It's not for
Yeah,
Canal Street or something. It's legit.
Ah,
yeah, it's
okay.
not a knockoff.
Okay. Wow, man. Wow.
As it was, what Sonya said is absolutely right. She hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
Wow. That is amazing, isn't it? And I guess how they keep people in a poverty mindset, or when they write television or film, they write that mindset into it. That
Yeah.
you're poor, yet you're trying to get, these signifiers of wealth or acceptance or whatever you want to call it. And but they do that for a lot of times for black people, or other non-whites. White people, like you said, the Waltons, we don't have this, but we don't aspire to that because those things are banal. We don't
It don't mean have a
aspire
meaning
to
to
that.
you. It don't
Right.
have a meaning to them. Yeah, they're not walking around with Gucci or
Right,
Yeah.
purse.
right. There's no use to me, and you have these shows of kids. Oh, I need to have this, because everybody's wearing this, and that's the mindset, that we have. I've got to have this, otherwise I'm gonna die.
That's
This
what,
Yeah,
is
I
yeah.
get it.
ridiculous. I'm gonna die because I don't have it.
That's why we have TV shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or what, Vanderpump Rules now.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to look like I'm up and coming. I know what to watch because I'm watching these people do it, so I can do it.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
So
crazy.
that's how they don't show the super poor on TV if if you're not a BIPOC because you're aspiring to keep up with the Kardashians. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we'll
Right.
show you the super high end because this is what you need to aspire to be. But we'll show you all the LGBT and BIPOC people who are poor because that's all you're good for,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and to be the best friends of
who
yeah.
those
Well,
wants
yeah. There you
people who
go.
are up there.
There you
who
go.
who wants to keep up with Duck Dynasty? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What's the name of the other
So
show? Honey,
didn't isn't
Honey
Duck
Boo Boo.
Dynasty? Yeah, but I was gonna say Duck Dynasty. Didn't they used to be yuppies before they went right on the show? And then,
were they? I had no
yeah,
idea.
I
I
found
I
a
know.
think somebody
picture.
told me they were. Yeah.
They were all
Really?
yuppies, and because they couldn't get a show for them that was like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, they went the other direction.
Wow. And then people ate that up, right?
Yep.
Uh,
Ate it up.
yeah, you heard of the show Honey Boo Boo?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do. I remember that. The
That's
kid
poor
was a
people.
tout for toddlers and tiaras. All
That's poor
those poor
people.
people doing
Yeah.
those, what do you call it? The pageant shows that I guess, and they are really directed, I believe, toward poor people. You know, that pageant said. You know,
Who would put
and
little girls? Who would put little girls in full makeup like that? Poor people.
poor. But and people who believe that's their way out and up. It's almost like a form of Munchausen by proxy, you know.
Hmm.
I put my child out there doing this, and now it's the life I wanted, the attention that I wanted to get,
Anything,
and now
anything,
I get attention because I'm the mother of this kid who is out here getting all this attention, right?
anything to escape poverty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The thing
the
is that, but
to
some of these people, it's not even about money; it's about being seen, don't you think?
yeah, yeah. I've have relatives that they dressed their for her birthday. Their 3-year-old child up. She's got all had on all these gold chains and I guess high end sneakers for toddlers and all of that. There, it's it's
And
to
so why?
yeah.
Why?
Why? But to paraphrase the rock group Devo, everybody wants that big ice cream cone in the sky.
Mm, must be something like that. But things like that, it's like, but don't you think that when you're doing stuff like that, it doesn't show that you've got something. It actually telegraphs the fact not only that you're poor, but you're poor in spirit. You know?
Definitely, definitely. To me, it shows a absence of self worth.
Mhm.
You're overcompensating on things.
Mhm.
I have another relative that's homeless, but doesn't like to wear anything other than Nikes, you know.
Okay. I mean, is it because they feel good on their feet, or
Now
just
because the society people feel that they're nothing if they don't have Gucci or Nike or Timberlands or whatever. You feel less than a person. This is what society has made of us.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to do all of this. Listen,
But the
you
problem
have
is,
you have I this is what I told my son, okay? Because one time me and him got into it when I brought him a winter coat for Christmas, and this happens. I didn't have enough money for a North Face.
mhm.
Okay, I told him, listen, you guys to work for what you want out here. That's number one. Number two, I said, you got some vanilla people out here walking around in torn jeans and whatever, and they go in the store and will pull out a big bankroll of money to buy something.
Yeah.
Okay. They got on Skippy Doo PF Fly sneakers,
Mhm.
torn jeans, uh old T-shirt, but got money up the kazoo.
Mhm.
Okay, this is what I told him. It's not so much about image.
But poor
Okay.
people feel they have to overcompensate
There,
Yeah.
yes,
for the
Mhm.
you
poverty.
you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. That's our that's one of
But
our biggest problems.
don't you think then realistically that we have a system that is telling everyone somehow that you are poor, somehow that
Yeah,
you are not measuring up,
yeah.
and that
It's
keeps
a
you
double-edged
constantly,
sword.
constantly trying to get this and get that and get this and get that,
Yeah.
and it's never enough because oh, well, you have last year's version, so now you got to
Hmm.
go,
This year's
dip into the
version.
the with
Yeah, I mean, it's
the
a double-edged
consumer
sword.
well once more,
It's a
in order to
double-edged
spend more.
it's
Hmm.
a double-edged sword because you got this, you're wearing this Gucci and there's all this other stuff that signifies how much money is worth, how much you paid for it. At the same time, your bank account is a negative, whatever it is, you know. And the
Hmm.
people that can really afford that stuff, they're not, like James said, they're not wearing that.
No, they're
No,
not wearing that.
they're
They're
keeping their
not wearing.
money. They're
Yeah.
keeping their money. They don't have to they don't have to overcompensate. They don't
Yeah.
Hmm.
they don't wear their bank account on their sleeve
No.
or on their hat or something. It's just
Yeah, and it's across the board.
Hmm.
It's This is the thing with a lot of different ethnic groups of people of color that
yeah.
we gotta overcompensate. And see, another thing about overcompensation is that with our community, I'm talking about the diaspora, we have been beaten into the ground so much
Hmm.
over the centuries that we feel we have to dress a certain way to have self-worth.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
there was a time when if you came from the Caribbean, you had to have the gold in your mouth. Okay, just ask. Listen, my father. Okay, he had to go two for two. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? It's and like my college professor said, the only difference is the slave ship dropped this person off over
Hmm.
here, this person off
Yep.
over here, this person off over here. You know, but unfortunately, we have we have to overcompensate.
Hmm.
You
We
know,
feel we feel we have to overcompensate, and we do.
yeah,
We do
Yeah.
overcompensate,
we feel.
And I remember when I was a
and we don't have.
girl, when I was there's this place community we drive past, South Florida, where I'm from, and it was a neighbor in the neighborhood, and these people had this house, and it was just I guess one step up from a shotgun shack, and it was leaning, like leaning, and in front of that house was parked a Corvette.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that it's like, what in the world? So you think you have the
because I could
money to do a
drive.
Corvette, you could
I
fix the house, right?
but I can't drive that house down the block and get respect.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I could
I
drive the Corvette down the street and get all kind of respect from all kind of people,
That's
even
Hmm.
right.
people I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same madness with the phones. Okay, this is the thing I find hilarious going home in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
is I get on the bus. I'm the only fool that pulls out a Metro card,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and pays. 4, 5 other people get on after me. Can I get a ride? And at the same time, they have the latest phone.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
my thing's like, damn, you got the phone with all
Yeah.
the bells and whistles, but you can't pay to get on the bus.
Well, some I get to the defense. Sometimes with the programs that give people the phones, they give them all the latest phones so that they don't get them again for another 2, 3 years,
Hmm.
and then they
Y-
give them the latest phone
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So judging somebody by the phone's not quite the.
no, it is because you have some people with those programs that will turn. They don't want the Obama phone.
Obama
Okay,
phone.
they don't want it.
Well,
Let's just and I'm just saying I may be making a generalization, but a lot of people I see. The phones I see, they're not getting it from a program.
No,
Mhm.
these phones are coming from the program because the companies donate them to make themselves look good
Yeah,
and,
Mhm.
and
but
tax them.
my dear, these are not, these are not.
Yeah, they're
iPhone.
iPhone 15s. They're giving out iPhone 15s,
Yeah,
and
but
they
I
have to
get
hold on to them
no,
until the iPhone
I get
18s come
yeah,
out.
but I
Mhm.
guarantee you, half of those people, yes, maybe they're getting
Mhm.
it from a program, but the other half, they're just too cheap. They don't want to
Mhm.
pay the 290,
Yeah,
but they
I'm
will
thinking
go.
the
Mhm.
fact that you have a new iPhone 15 is great. But what that
Mhm.
means is you didn't have to pay for it. And so
That's right. So the
that
money that you would
frees
have
up
put into that,
your
yeah,
other money. Yeah, it frees you
so
up
you can afford to get a Metro
to pay
Pass.
the goddamn bus fare. That's what it frees
You
your
know, to
money
pay
up.
your Metro Pass.
Yeah.
And trust me, I see a lot of people at night that you could tell they don't have the 290. God bless
Mhm.
them. Okay, the bus driver that I talk with, she doesn't her, she doesn't haggle with those people. Because
Mhm.
also you have some people that get on the bus because the bus runs down Clarkson, what is it, Clarkson Avenue, and it stops at a lot of the homeless intake centers.
Mm.
So I get that. Okay, I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
But listen, you got some people not just on the bus. You got some people get on the subway, not even paying on the subway.
Mm.
Okay,
Wow.
and they got on the latest clothes. Okay, the latest sneakers, the hat
Mhm.
with the tag. I mean, come
Mm-mm-mm.
on. I
Yeah,
mean, come on now.
that was me, James. That was me.
But my question is then, is this the new, the new poverty, the new visual um icons of poverty?
It's not
It's
the
Well,
TV.
it,
It's not the
it's
TV poverty. Is it the TV poverty?
But I'm just
well,
saying, TV poverty, I don't watch all the newest shows. I mean, like, what is the show that you all used to watch all the time? Power. You just watch, and that is about people who have money and power, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But when they write these people, don't they really write them with the same type of negative aspects that they write for people who are poor?
Well, the thing is about power is that they have money
Right?
and they dress like poor people would dress if they had a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Then
But
nothing's
but
changed.
right, so they wear all the Gucci and the Burberry and the whatever else.
Yeah, which to me is insane
Yeah.
because if I had money, my wardrobe would be custom. I wouldn't wear anything that anyone else wore. Why, if I had that kind of money, why in the world am I wearing ready to wear that other people wear? Huh?
You wouldn't you
I would
wouldn't
not.
no you wouldn't
I
want
would
to
have.
wear
Yeah, I
but
would not
you
wear
wouldn't
ready to wear.
yeah, yeah.
yeah
I agree. I would get everything custom too.
Hmm.
But
Or no
we
label so no one knows.
yeah
we
you'd be like the Joker in the Dark Knight. It's like
Yeah,
this guy has no labels on his clothes,
yeah. His clothes are all custom.
we
yeah.
we again though we've gotten so where we have to overcompensate for
Hmm.
everything
Yeah.
that it's again it's beyond the pale.
Yeah,
Okay,
but like you said though, the rich black people that they see on TV
right.
are wearing all the designer clothes. They
Hmm.
get those things for free because
Hmm.
designer companies know that they can trick
Mhm.
poor people to go buy them.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
the rich people that you see, rich black people that you see on television, are all wearing, like on Power, they have the Gucci's, the Armani's, the whatever, blah
We're
blah blah blah
Hmm.
blah blah.
we're part of the problem too.
Yeah,
We're
right,
part of the problem too. You
right.
have you have like you said, Empire, whatever, they wear the
Hmm.
designer stuff.
Yep.
When you see somebody like what's his name? Beyonce's husband,
Jay Z.
Jay Z. When you see all of them wearing the bling and this and that and this and that, young people coming up that are living below a certain income level,
Mhm.
that's what they want.
You know
Case
what
in
Yeah.
those? You know
point,
what that is? We should call it what it is. Those are
Mhm.
poor people clothes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Those are poor people clothes. They're the poor people who spend all their money, work all day long, all week, all
Mhm.
month long, and spend the
Mhm.
money to buy the bling so they can look like Jay-Z. Those are
yeah,
poor people clothes. They're not
yeah.
the clothes that people wear. That they
Mhm.
call it quiet luxury now. It's
Mhm.
on like on Succession and stuff. You don't even know what those labels
Those
are.
brand labels are.
You don't even see them. But
Mhm.
those are poor people clothes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and another case in point where I work at, this young guy, young man, he got involved with this girl, and he managed to get a little nice little gig working and whatnot.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, he's coming in with all these bags, shopping bags of designer clothes, designer this,
Hmm.
designer that, and she kept kind of upping the level
Mhm.
and he was trying to keep up, with her
Mhm.
taste to the point where one evening I'm sitting behind the desk and two white guys come in, and I could tell my way they detectives, right?
Mhm.
And they like, listen, have you seen this guy? And they pulled out the phone. Sure enough, it was a young man. I'm like, oh man, not not really. I see a lot of people coming in.
Don't be
Wait,
snitching.
let me see. Let me fit on my glasses on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to give him up, but then his mom's came in and she
Mhm.
told me that he was so stupid because he got this job, but he wanted to keep up with this girl's
Mhm.
taste, and he stole something from the job.
Mm.
So now they looking for him. Okay, whatever it is, they finally resolved it, and I guess he had an epiphany and got rid of
Mhm.
her.
Good for
Okay,
him. Good for
got
him. But
rid of her.
some people don't get that epiphany. He was the fortunate one.
Yeah.
He was the fortunate one. That he did a thing that he knew. Oh my God, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah, what did I do? So that's that's and this is as American as apple pie. It's always been like, remember the
Mhm.
Temptations song, the Joneses.
Mm.
Don't let the Joneses get you down and
Yep.
whatnot. That's what they were singing about way back when,
Yeah.
and that's what keeps us, the diaspora, in poverty, because we want, again, like Devo says, we want that big ice cream cone in the sky.
Mhm.
Not realizing that we got bills we gotta pay.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? This is why, thank God, my son, he's in Maryland and he's doing his thing. He got to work two jobs,
Mhm.
but he's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying. He has the work ethic,
That's
but
right.
it's it's just it's just sad because to me we've been, and it's our own, like you said, Otto. We've been bamboozled by our own people too.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is it's a form of assimilation. Other groups you can change your name, you can do this, that,
Mhm.
and the other, but we're gonna look like what when they see you immediately. There's
Mhm.
no way you can hide that. But if you can carry around these totems that society says is this, that, and the other, then you can feel accepted.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. And the unfortunate thing is that when we see television, when we see films, and we are constantly it's, I mean, I remember, for instance, let's go back to uh what's the name of the show, Starsky and Hutch, and you see the person like Huggy Bear and wearing all these crazy looking clothes sometimes. The later the seasons got, the more outrageous the clothing became. But then you have these other individuals then who think that that's real, watching Superfly, and they think
Mhm.
that's real, and
Mhm.
then they go out and they try to emulate it because they believe that oh, that's the way I should dress, that's the way I should act, and just things that are just calculated to keep us spinning ourselves into the ground, into poverty. Now you look at that thing and you say, well, he's wearing this, that, he's got these other things. But in reality, that is a poor man. He's a poor man because he's got to get up and go out on the street. He's got to sling junk. He's got to have a car to drive around so people think a certain thing about him while he's out there to be able to do that. If he stops doing it, he won't be able to live indoors, right? He is one mess up away from being out on the street or dead, right? That is not a wealthy person. All that is window dressing, and that this concept of us, being in these films with this type of window dressing is supposed to be something that is important, and people trying to emulate that and only further and further into poverty, real poverty, chasing something that is just elusive and just not real at all.
Yeah, and listen, ain't no shame in my game. I can remember when back in the '70s, I talked my parents into getting the Clyde Frazier Pumas. Okay, I can remember talking my parents into getting. That's when we wore Porterfields coats and whatnot.
But
But
James, I'm pretty sure also that you didn't ask for much growing up, and that when
no,
you ask for that stuff, that your parents say, "Yeah, this is a good kid. He deserves it."
yeah, yeah, and really enough. I mean, listen, these days I dress half the time like my ancestor, Maynard P. Cribs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's that's my style of dress. I'll get
Mr.
ready
Maynard
to
P. Krebs, here we go.
yeah, I'm getting ready to make an attempt to make some tie dye shirts this
Oh my lord!
yeah.
Just
But
make sure you do it right. Your hands don't get dyed.
now you know what? I'm glad you warned me because I've got the kit, and I'm gonna be even though I have the kit and the instructions, I think I'm gonna be flying blind, not knowing what I'm doing. You
And
know,
some gloves, man. Some
but
gloves.
that's the way it is.
Oh my lord.
Um, but
and and
no,
don't
it.
use the pot you're eating from.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, 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 no. Wow.
Oh, I'd love to see the outcome, the final
Yeah,
outcome of your
I
tie
just
dye
gotta.
experiment.
Yeah, I have to. They're talking about a net in the instructions, and I don't know. Excuse my friend. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about with a net. What is?
Because you have
Yeah,
to pull the stuff out.
but they're talking about placing it on a net. What? What do I?
Because you gotta dip it into the
What?
dye.
Yeah, but well, first they say I gotta get some like rubber bands, and
Yes,
I
to make this
gotta.
with the tie dye, you gotta twist it, put
Yeah,
the rubber bands on it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then
Okay.
after that they said I had to lay it out on a net.
So
Yeah.
that
Don't you have a laundry dryer? Do you have one of those, like a what you call it thing? A sweater dryer? You know,
And
those.
the
downstairs in the
the
laundry.
drying rack, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't
The
put it in
sweaters.
the dryer because then it'll
Right.
stain the
Right.
dryer.
Well,
You have
Yeah,
you
to.
the
think I?
It
sweater.
has
Yeah,
to
Well,
drip
it's
dry.
first of all, the dryers belong to houses, so I don't give a shit. No, but,
I would kill
okay.
you if I put my stuff in the dryer and behind you and all my things ended up with that tie dye on. I'd find you if I had to crawl to the 23rd, 22nd floor. I'd
Oh
be
well,
doing it.
well,
I'd be
well.
like Porgy from Porgy and Bess, man. I'm there.
Well, if that's the case, then I had to find another way.
Yeah, you find yourself.
um,
Like I said, those
You have to
sweater
lay.
racks
Yeah, you have
that are
to
like,
lay it flat.
yeah, the ones that they're like this, like a big square, and it's the mesh. You know,
right?
yeah, one of those. That's what you need. One of those mesh.
Okay, okay, all right.
One of those mesh sweater. Yeah, oh my lord, can you imagine that?
I
Please.
think I've got it. Or
Okay, all right. I'm looking
listen,
forward to seeing this.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Are you doing it like three? Are you going to do like three different colors? Or you just do like white and another color?
Nah, it's like four pack of colors. Listen, this ain't happening until next month, so don't hold your breath.
Okay, all right.
Cause
Hold my breath.
until I get till I get
I'm not.
everything down packed and all that.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I don't want to walk around going to work with multicolored, hands and hair and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. You probably want to avoid that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All
But
right.
getting back to what I was saying, yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Cause when my son graduated, he graduated from Cardinal Hayes, right? And he was, talking about going to the prom with his lady.
Hmm.
And so he's asked my, okay, I gave him some money. Then he came back. He said, "Well, Dad, I'm wearing like a maroon tuxedo, Cardinal Hayes color, and I want to get these sneakers." So he showed me the sneakers. I'm like, "Okay, son, that's
Hmm.
nice. How much are they?" Well, they're $500. Fuck out of
uh.
here! No, no, fuck out of here! What is this? What?
Whoa! No! 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 No!
No,
No!
no, no. What? I
Get
like listen.
get white sneakers and dye them.
Yeah, or we'll take up a collection because my soul, I ain't got it like that.
Yeah. You know
Okay.
what? And once you wear that thing that one time, and you think, you know what? I should have just asked for the money
Yeah.
and kept the money because I wore these sneakers as one event and that's it. They
No,
take a picture of you at prom, they don't even hardly see those shoes.
listen. I gave him some more money, and I said, "Good luck and Godspeed, John Glenn,
John
because you're
Glenn.
gonna have to find somebody else. I hit your
Right.
moms, hit your aunt, hit your uncles, hit your older brothers, hit your girls' parents, but not everybody. Take out a loan." But yeah, it's just it's just sad. And this is what kind of keeps people in
Yeah.
poverty, because you want that luxury stuff,
Yeah.
and even now you have people because Uber Eats and
Hmm.
Grubhub and all that. Young people coming up today, they're not cooking.
Yeah. Yep. And
They're,
that's costly. And they don't
that's
understand how
costly.
costly that is. And these
Yeah,
things that keep you poor. You know? But
exactly.
the thing is, but on television we see every commercial, people eating out, they're
Hmm.
or they're ordering in, right? And then
Yeah,
our kids, people think that's normal, but
Well,
no, that's poverty.
the pandemic made it normal,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
The
so
pet. Yeah,
trying to break that pattern is hard for some people.
yeah. That's you're absolutely right, Sonia. Because the pandemic. Listen, delivery guys were getting more respect than me working in security. Okay, hey, security at LA for where's the delivery man?
Yeah.
Okay, they were the ones that they were the rock stars of the
Yeah.
pandemic, and like you said, people can't get out of it. There's again where I work at. There's some young ladies that stay with their grandmother. They tend to their grandmother. I think they pretty much their brother too.
Hmm.
I think they've forgotten how if you ask them to boil an egg, they're like, boil an egg? How? What do you mean a boiled egg? Oh, that's the chopped up egg that comes in the salad when I order from
Hmm.
the store. They and it's not just them, it's across the board. And it's like you said, it's costly not knowing that if you were to prepare a meal and if you're trying to save money to get something, you make
Hmm.
something that'll last for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
people don't do it. I don't understand it.
No, they don't do it. Like I said, these young ladies they will order from McDonald's in the middle of the night because on Fulton Avenue they have a 24-hour McDonald's. Okay, they ain't thinking about cooking nothing. And again, it's costly because it
Okay.
costs money.
It doesn't
Hey,
occur.
Otto, can you hear me now, Otto?
Yeah, I know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like I can see you in there, but you're just muted.
I wasn't muted. I couldn't get in.
But I
I couldn't
saw
see
you.
no.
You were here.
No,
It
you,
takes it a while to notice that you've been disconnected.
Yeah, it's a bunch
Oh,
of circles. Like everything, I couldn't see anything.
ah, okay. Well, I see you now. Here we are. But I can
Um,
see you.
yeah, and people don't realize that the prices when you go to buy something in person is cheaper than when you go to buy it through the apps because
Yeah,
they don't realize that they've upped the you're paying a fee and then they up a fee to take on each item you buy.
I'm going to tell you, I have become now, unfortunately, I people here will say, order something from the grocery store. And I say, ah, what are you ordering? Can I add this thing to your order instead of going like I normally would, to the grocery store? But the reality is, I go to the grocery store a lot less than I used to,
Hmm.
which is kind of a positive thing, but, a negative thing, but a positive thing. But sometimes it's just a great convenience to not have to get up and do things, while you're working on something. They just call somebody, say, bring it here, and then it gets here, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's a triumph of advertising because they always talk about how they act like if you have to actually cook something, that it's an inconvenience and it's so time
Hmm.
consuming and this, that, and the other. And it's just instant
Exactly.
gratification. You get it right now and then you can go do something else. They don't say
Man,
what exactly you
I'm
have to do that's so important, but
hmm I'm sorry. I see this commercial that comes on at night saying how difficult it is to floss your teeth. It's
Oh
like, come
yeah,
on, y'all. Come on.
and painful too.
Painful. And time consuming. And the breath to floss your teeth. Everything cannot be instant.
Yeah,
Everything.
where they
You
have
know?
somebody fumbling with the floss to do
Of
it.
course.
Yep.
Of course. Oh,
I
I
can't
can't.
get it in
Oh,
between my
yeah.
teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with commercials like that, other commercials when it's such a chore to do something, it also look like the person's drunk while they're doing it. You know what
No,
I'm
I saw.
No,
We
they're
saw
just
one. I saw one. I think the worst one was
Uh-huh.
all these damn banana peels. It's like
saying?
God.
What is it? How will I get into this banana? I don't understand.
it's all
Hello?
see that's
How?
the difference. The poor people will figure it out. You don't
Yeah,
want to
but
be
let me
like a
tell
per person and actually have to do the task. You
you.
want to be a rich person where you can buy a machine or whatever to do it for you.
Yeah, which is insane. Just a lot less time spent just peeling the banana. Just
Yeah, I gotta
it's
have a
just a lot
special
less time.
machine to
Yeah, just
peel
a
a banana.
lot less time. Just peel the banana. Okay.
Well, we've got those banana apple peelers. But our parents, Dr. King's not listening. Good.
The
When they
apple
started
corer.
advertising the apple cores and the apple
Yeah.
peelers, you put the
Yeah.
apple in and you just spin it and it
Yeah.
peels it
Yeah.
for you. I'm like, my grandmother could peel it faster by hand.
I can
I'm
peel it too. I can
listening.
peel it with my
She said,
teeth.
"Oh, but she's saying she is listening." So there.
I can peel it with my
Yeah.
Yeah,
teeth.
I'm listening to you. I hear you.
I can
I
peel the
yeah.
Yeah.
apple with. I can peel the apple with my teeth. I call
But
biting
that's
it.
how they bit. That's how they build it to our
Hmm.
parents and our grandparents. It
But you do say
speeds you up, show
faster.
it faster, and you're like, but if you grew up doing it, you do it faster.
But you know what I'm going to tell you? That's a thing that I always thought was like a waste of time thing, but I do love them. And I don't have one now, but I should get one. And that's the little egg slicer. There's a boiled egg, and you put it in the egg slicer with the wire, and you take the thing and it slices the egg.
Well,
I
that
like that.
that makes sense. That I can understand.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that.
I don't understand that at all.
It's four chops
But
of a
But
scissor
that's
of a.
like
It's
the apple
uh,
core,
yeah.
yeah, but it's
the
useful
apple
if you're going to
core
be using a lot of
thing.
apples. Yeah, but the egg thing, I love that
Mm.
little egg thing,
I
especially
don't.
like you're making salads and stuff.
I get the
What?
whole egg and
You
put
know
the
what?
whole egg
You
in
be
my mouth.
quiet because I know what you do, and it's disgusting. You know, and he's not kidding. He takes the egg, he puts the
Oh,
salt and the pepper on the outside of the egg, and then eats it, the whole
Oh,
egg.
use a
I
He
ate the
regular
bites
whole
cool.
the
egg.
he
Use
bites
a
the
regular
end
cool
of the
hand
egg.
Luke, huh?
Yeah, he bites the end of the egg and eats the egg like that. No, I want mine sliced. You know, so you lay
Excuse
them out
me.
on your salad. Yes,
You stick my
but yeah, no,
pinky
he's
out
not
while I
kidding.
do all this.
It's what one three slices two to get the same thing. It's two slices of a three slices of and a knife because it does it in fourths or sixths.
the little in the egg slicer?
Yeah.
6. So you put the thing
Put
in there,
some
you have
salt and
6
pepper on the egg
slices.
and shove the egg in
It's
your mouth.
fantastic. I love that thing. I don't want to eat my egg like that. That's not attractive. And you can't
I'm
spread
not
it out
trying to
over
look
your
cute.
salad. And you can't spread it out over your salad so that you get the proper salad
Just
Put
just
proper
the
put
whole
it.
lettuce
egg in your mouth.
lettuce
Just
to
Put the,
tomato to egg to meat ratio.
just slice it.
Come on.
Just slice
no,
it in,
put the
Rainy.
No,
whole
it's
egg in your
no.
mouth and
It's
then
you know what? It's faster to just take the thing, put a little thing, put the term, just flap the thing over the wires, and the wires just slice it all at once.
No,
put the whole
That makes more sense.
put the whole egg in your mouth.
I'm not doing that because that's.
oh god, use a regular Paul Newman.
Yep, yep. It's exactly it. That must be it. Who's emulating? Because it's horrible.
No, you just put the whole egg in your mouth and you get some lettuce and then get some tomatoes
Uh huh.
and you
Yep.
got it.
so
No.
What's the
so
problem? What's the
so wait a
problem
No.
with
minute.
y'all?
When you eat a hot dog, after you start chewing the hot dog, do you squirt mustard in your mouth?
No, he does not. In fact, he's one of again meticulous of all the different layers and things that have to go on and put it together appropriately, which is why the egg thing I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
I don't
I
understand.
don't understand it. I don't understand why people make something so simple so complex.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
Yeah.
That is not complex. Peel the egg, put it in the
And you
slicer,
gotta slice
put the
it.
thing down, and then
You
that's
gotta
it. You're
slice.
done. It's done. All done.
Oh God, you in a
Everything's
New York
fine.
state of mind, man.
He must be.
By the time you finish doing all that slicing, I already ate my egg.
And nobody wanted to see that though.
oh
That was
God.
not an attractive thing to do.
oh God. Oh
It's so
Lord.
ridiculous.
No, by the time you do all that, I've already eaten my egg. I'm at school. I'm starting my homework.
Okay, whatever.
See, you in
Whatever.
there slicing eggs.
No, 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 no,
Oh
no.
boy.
No.
Oh
This is awful.
Lord.
No, I mean he really does that, and I think I like the proper distribution of all things when I'm making a food item. I'm not gonna just eat one end of the egg with salt and pepper and stuff on it. That's just no. This
And
how do you even get it even going all the way through the egg? This doesn't make any sense.
It has
and
to be
here
inside
and
the egg, onto outside of the egg.
and here we are with the classic what how the poor people and how the rich people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
said Sonia
Exactly.
and Penelope are rich people. Cause they
I
slicing and all this kind of stuff. I put the salt
Yeah,
and
but
pepper on the egg.
I'm the one slicing, not the machine slicing or the
That
gadget
Well,
machine.
slicing.
you
No, I. You
still
know what? I'm an efficiency expert. I want the things to be
listen.
efficient.
I got even more. Listen, more efficiency for you. You get the salt. You get salt and pepper. Put it on the egg.
It's your, and it's not an attractive
Yeah,
thing to see. As I gotta say.
you get two crackers.
Oh, that's the worst thing. Don't even think. Don't even say that. Don't even say that. That's just don't say it at all. No.
You make an egg. Yeah.
Don't even talk about that. Okay, please.
oh
Thank you.
Lord.
She wouldn't want to hear
Um,
how here I my egg salad. So
You
no,
make
I
an
mean,
egg. You make an egg cracker sandwich.
nah, you put shell the egg, you push a fork down in the middle and
Okay,
just let it
good folks.
smush it.
No, no.
I'm
You
gonna
get
have to.
you get the
okay.
Oh,
egg. You
Dr.
get the
King is leaving us now because you all have disgusted her so much.
no. You
I'm
know,
so sorry.
Doctor
I'm
King,
so
get the
sorry.
egg.
She's leaving because
You
you all
put
have
salt and
disgusted her
pepper
with
on
your
the
egg
egg.
thoughts.
You put salt and pepper on the egg. You get two crackers. You squish the egg in between the two crackers. Then there you go.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Lunch,
Great.
breakfast,
Great.
whatever.
Well, I'm saying, well, you all, we are running up now on 2 hours for the show. So I would like to know from those of you all. I'll start at the middle for you all. For James, you're in the middle. Um, as far as the shows that are concerned that we talked about with poverty, just showing how you know what poverty looks like. What show in your mind is close to showing what real poverty looks like?
What show?
Or
Um,
film, or film.
Real poverty. That's wow. Currently, or
Whenever, just whenever. It doesn't have to be current.
maybe maybe a documentary. I think it was CBS Harvest of Shame.
Hmm.
You
Harbors
know,
of Shame.
yeah, Harvest of Shame.
What was it about?
It was about I believe it was about black sharecropping.
Okay, all right. That seems pretty bad. Okay. All right, and Sonia, if you
The
would
the
have
one.
touched, yeah,
Go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. No, I was
What
just.
yours was?
I was gonna say the one that showed what when showed my life more respectively was closer to Julia. That's what our family was more like.
But did you think you were poor though? Did you feel that
No,
was
we didn't
poverty?
think we were poor, but looking back now, I can see
Julia
that
wasn't poor though,
she was working class,
but she was
lower.
not.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
But
I didn't see her as even working poor.
see,
You just saw
well,
as middle class, that she was but she was a single parent with a
single,
child.
right? That's except I also had my grandmother, so it
Mhm.
was just the three of us.
Mhm.
That was my life. I didn't see us as poor. Go looking back now, I can tell how they struggled to make sure
Mm.
I had what I needed. But
Mm. Wow.
when you're living it, you don't think of yourself as poor.
Right.
It sounded pretty
Right.
comfortable to me. I like that.
Mm.
That's like a good lifestyle.
Yeah. But how about you then, Otto? What do you look at from television? Film, TV, media. What is it that you believe is most close approximation to what real poverty is?
I don't think there is anything. I can't point to
I didn't
anything.
say the anything. I said the closest approximation.
Oh, you're trying to be scientific. Okay. Uh, I don't know. I mean, just a plethora of shows like JT and his cat. You
Yeah,
know,
that thing, that JT
he was
thing.
pretty
That
poor.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Shameless.
Mhm.
So Shameless. I think they pretty poor.
Yep.
Um. Uh. I think I don't like the show, but Roseanne.
Mhm.
Her show the working poor. Even the honeymooners.
Yeah, I guess they are working poor.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not one show to me. It's just a plethora of shows. But I would say that saying that poor white people have been on television have been better than poor black people.
Because I think in my mind, when I see shows that have poor white people, poor Anglo people, it's either that it is on the one hand, salt of the earth, people just working through, these tough times. On the other hand, it's like, completely absurdist comedy, right?
Yeah.
It's one or the other generally.
Right.
And when black people are in that position, it's absurdist, but they try to make it appear that it's reality.
Yeah.
The concept of poverty that's placed on black people are burdened with this image of poverty
And you
that they
belong,
should be
and you
competent.
belong there. It's like like even Ralph Crandom is always trying to, the different white people that come in and out of the Crandom
That's right,
household. You
right.
know, they got money. Some don't have money.
I don't think I've ever seen a black person on honeymooners.
I don't either.
Oh
Hmm.
no.
There were no black people in New York City back in those days.
Oh, okay. I knew it was some reason.
Especially not on buses.
Okay, all right. All right, Cranston, what about you? What do
To
you
me,
think?
it would be any true crime show, not like the ones about where Keith Morrison comes out and tells you what's happening, but something like When They See Us, when you find out
Mm.
that if you are poor, you don't have the same access to quote unquote justice that other people do.
And the unfortunate thing is that access that you don't have the justice sometimes is perpetuated on you by the people that love you or people that you love because they think that you won't get any justice, so you just got to take what you can get. and
Hmm.
they encourage you to not fight. You know,
And I remember that movie. Cranston said that. I remember the movie with Keanu Reeves in it when they found that guy killed his girlfriend.
the
What's the name of
river,
that movie?
the river.
Yeah, those
Hmm.
people were poor.
Yep.
They're white people. They were poor,
Hmm.
but and the desperation was felt real to me in that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And trapped. The sense of being trapped. That this is all that you're going to be.
Yeah, there was nothing happening that was going to change your circumstances,
Hmm.
and that's the
Yeah,
poor that a lot of black people experience in
Yeah.
television.
yeah, Harvest of Shame. It's on YouTube. That's
Okay.
Edward R. Murrow.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. I saw that's right up my alley. That documentary like that. So
Hmm.
it's depressing, but it's good.
Good. Good. All right. Good. All right, you all. Well, here we are at the 2 hour mark. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. It has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you all who just swung by in the Facebook pages. I know I got things kind of messed up there, but I finally figured it out. Um, we'll be back again next week with I think the show we're going to do is what is the one about the do we want to do the black trauma films made into musicals?
Yes.
Black trauma films made into musicals, and your own black trauma film made it to a musical. So we talk about that next week. So be ready. Thank y'all again so much. Have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Have a fantastic uh, and productive week. We'll see you all.
Congratulations to all the NAACP Image Award winners.
Oh yeah, congratulations
That
to you
just
guys.
finished. I don't know who it. I'm gonna catch it on the streaming.
All right,
And
cool.
and congratulations once again to Cord Jefferson, one of my
Yes,
favorite
yeah, yeah.
writers
Okay.
who did American Fiction and also in Watchmen episode 6. He won an Emmy for that episode, This
Hmm.
Extraordinary Being.
So now he's got his Oscar. So now he just needs what his Tony, right?
And a Grammy.
And a
Grammy.
Grammy.
He has to read a book, do a talking book, Audible, and then he can get a Grammy. I'm just saying. All right. All right. Well, everybody take care. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.